What's up, Kookaburra crew? Today's quick change is going to be all about slinging some spell books and doing some upgrade to the Scions and Spellcrafts precon from the Final Fantasy XIV Commander release. This deck is full of iconic characters, cool spell singers synergies, and some hefty dose of nostalgia, but we could give it a little bit of love and polish to really make it shine. And while Final Fantasy XIV is still a masterpiece, I gotta say Final Fantasy X is still my absolute favorite in the series, so go back and check out my previous video where I did a quick change of that deck there. But let's dive in here, and you know what, we're gonna look at this without overwhelming our guild balance. Let's look at some cheap changes that we can make inside of this deck. All right, so as I dive into these changes, first and foremost, I have to say, I am terrible at pronouncing these names. So you all have to forgive me for all the mispronunciations that are probably gonna happen in this video. I am all for correction, so feel free to spell it out the way it's supposed to sound in the comment section below. You're not gonna hurt my feelings, but I'm gonna try. So the first quick change is gonna be our commander. Y'shtola is okay, but it doesn't really synergize with the deck as well as going with our secondary commander, which is Krew. I feel like that's just a much better synergy with this deck. So I would suggest as our first change, let's do a little bit of a switcheroo on the commanders. While you get some great value with our primary commander, our secondary commander turns every non-creature spell into a growing army. This gives us the ability to be a clear build direction. It makes the gameplay much more interactive and much more aggressive, which I think is more of the style that this deck was actually built around. Okay, quick change number 2, Bastion of Remembrance. Let's pull that bad boy out, and I would put in either the Reverend Hoplite or a Sanguine Evangelist. Why? Well, Bastion is great in Aristocrats, but this deck really isn't about those little teeny tiny things. It's more about spending life and making tokens. So Reverend Hoplite gives you a body, and it does scale the tokens with the devotion to white, while Sanguine Evangelist gives you both bodies and a +1/+0 effect for your massive army that you're trying to build. I just think they're just a better swap out for that. All right, quick change number 3. I think we can cut a deal. Let's cut that one out. It's a low impact draw spell. I think we can do better with a bigger mana value spell. My suggestion is Emergency Powers. Emergency Powers refreshes your hands and hit Krew's trigger really hard. So that's a great benefit for a high mana value spell that gets you cards and does the big triggers. I think that's just a much better value. Number 4, let's turn our life into fuel. So I would cut out Authority of the Consuls, and Alphinaud's Archive is what I would put in instead. While Authority of the Consuls really does slow down the aggro decks, it doesn't really fit to our playstyle. This isn't really a control deck. I think it's much better to spit in here the Archive that will actually double your life gain and help you pay for the triggers more often. This will really help us synergize with our commander so much better going forward. All right, so number 5. I think we should take out Circle of Power. It's kind of confusing and just janky the way that it plays. While it has its capabilities and it does fit into some decks, I feel like we could actually do so much better with Teysa Karlov. Teysa gives us that double death trigger, which is really beneficial since we've got a wide army and could be hitting a lot of deaths. And it also adds lifelink to our tokens. We want to spend our life. We want to use our life as a currency. So let's add more of it by giving all of those tokens that we've created some lifelink. All right, number 6. And again, I cannot pronounce these names. I'm going to try Krew Baldazan. I'm just not a huge fan of this card. There's not a ton to it. It feels relatively inefficient. It's flavorful, it adds some flavor, but it just doesn't feel as efficient. I would sub in a very inexpensive card, Monastery Mentor. It's just a great way to add tokens from our non-creature spells, and it really just gets to double up the value of what we can do with our commander here. So I think that one's just a better fit for the flow of this deck and how we're trying to make these happen. All right, so there's the 6 that I would change, but I've got some bonus ones for you. I think these would be very supporting in the upgrades that we're trying to do here. Timely Reinforcements, very inexpensive card, but it would be awesome. When you're behind at the table, you could throw that one out there, gain some life, add some tokens into your battlefield. Painful Truths is another great one that we could put in here. This is for the life for draw synergies that we're trying to build out. Teferi's Ageless Insight, more card draw, more spells, always a win. And then Aetherflux Reservoir is a great additional win con if you're constantly creating those spells and casting those spells. So if we're getting super stormy with this one, that can be a great additional win con that we can pull out there. So there you go, 6 quick changes that make G'rahatia a true warrior of light in this deck. So we're trading life for power and leading a heroic charge through spells and strategy. If you like this short, sharp upgrade guide, drop a like and a sub for more Kookaburra Quick Change. Until next time, keep slinging those spells and stacking those counters.